Alright guys, Multiversus is coming back, and so am I. I love Multiversus. It was like my favorite thing in the world when it came out. I genuinely love it because it's like the perfect blend of what I love from Smash plus something completely brand new. I love the 2v2 gameplay, I love the perk system, I love everything about it, and I don't want Smash to copy off of it, and a lot of its ideas would be terrible for Smash. And that's what I love about this game, is that like this is very clearly different. It's not just trying to imitate it. It's like Nicktoons was trying to imitate it too hard, you know? It's like Pepsi versus Coke. Except for this version of Pepsi happened to be more like RC Cola or something. It was really bad. Like I would rather drink a Pepsi. Like I will totally drink a Pepsi anytime. Pepsi and Coke are more like a 50-50 battle, right? So this is like RC Cola, right? It's just like a cheap imitation, and it doesn't have nearly enough going on. So of course Coke is going to beat RC Cola, right? We haven't really found the Pepsi yet. Is Multiversus the Pepsi to this analogy? No, it's like Dr. Pepper. It's like doing its own thing. It's completely different. It's not trying to be just a ripoff or an imitation. It's just trying to be another good soda, essentially. It's not, you know, it's just trying to be another good platform fighter. It's trying to carve its own path, and that's what I've always loved about it. And there was a Cartoon Network Smash Bros. Game for the 3DS and later on Xbox 360 and stuff, and that was Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion, which the only good thing about that game was that you could play the brawl-style story mode in 4-player co-op. I appreciate that, and I beat most of it in 2-player co-op, but that game was just, you know, that game was made for children. That game was not a serious fighting game that they were actually trying to make like a real game with. That game was cool though, just because it had all the Cartoon Network characters, but because this is all of Warner Brothers, and yet Cartoon Network still gets to share some of that spotlight, that makes it way more exciting to see characters like Dexter going up against Rick from Rick and Morty, to see characters like the Powerpuff Girls interacting with Superman and Batman. Like, to me, that is everything I want, and that is a way more exciting for a crossover. That is more on par with Smash Bros. Level. But also the fact that we never know who we're going to get. Like, I think a lot of us were speculating that Jason might be the character because there was a character select screen that showed 2 secret characters, and one of them eventually was Banana Guard. And the thing is that that character select screen was in alphabetical order, which normally Multiversus doesn't put their character select screen in alphabetical order. But this was like a character bio screen. It wasn't the normal character select screen. I think they were showing it for the PvE mode, so maybe that will be in alphabetical order or something. I don't know why it was in alphabetical order. It kind of made it too easy to narrow down who these characters were going to be. So the other name was between Jake and Joker, and a lot of us were already speculating Jason. Because if it wasn't Jason, then it was like, well, if it's not Jason, then maybe Johnny Bravo? And some people are saying, what about Johnny Cage or John Wick? And it's like, if they're going to do Mortal Kombat, they're not going to do Johnny Cage. I hate to break it to you. At least not as the first character. He's just too basic and normal. And if you're thinking, yeah, but what if they like want to do something funny compared to what the Mortal Kombat characters could offer? They're already doing like a funny kung fu character. That's Shaggy, right? Johnny Cage doesn't bring enough to the game gameplay-wise, in my opinion, to where if they're going to put in like any character from Mortal Kombat, I think Sub-Zero, like a lot of people are saying Scorpion because he's the mascot. I say do both, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, because that would just be amazing. But Sub-Zero is probably the most unique because he can actually like freeze people and he's a ninja. You know, besides that, and I'm talking the most unique out of like really iconic characters. Could always just do Goro. I mean, Goro would be fucking crazy. That would be fucking awesome. But my point is that Johnny Cage was like a no from the start. And when it comes to John Wick, I just think if you're gonna use Keanu Reeves, like, why use John Wick? Wouldn't you rather use The Matrix? And lo and behold, I recorded that video and didn't upload it because I wasn't too happy with it, where I said they're not going to do John Wick because if they're going to do anything with Keanu Reeves, it'd be Neo. Now we have Agent Smith. And I have theories for why we have Agent Smith. I think the reason why we have Agent Smith is the same reason why we have Banana Guard. Because Banana Guard and Agent Smith are basically grunt characters. Neo fights an army of Agent Smiths in Matrix 2. I think it's called Reloaded. I think Revelations is the third one. I think that's how. I think that's how this works. Everyone knows, if you're a Matrix fan, you know that like the first Matrix is pretty much the only one that matters. And then if you don't like 2 and 3, you can watch the fourth one and maybe you'll like it, but maybe you won't. But I personally don't care about 2 and 3 at all. So, but I will say at least Agent Smith, at least Revolutions or whatever the second one's called, has Agent Smith and Neo's iconic giant battle. And that's like the best thing the movie has going for it. Of course, the CGI has not aged well. It looks like shit. It makes me just want to go back and watch the first Matrix with like way more practical effects. Like way better special effects in my opinion. But yeah, I do. That doesn't. Even if I'm shitting on the Matrix trilogy, I still love the first movie and still really want Neo. Plus, Neo's moveset would be very interesting for a game like this, especially if you can like just block projectiles right in their place or something like that. But I think the reason why they did Agent Smith before Neo is because that way they can have a bunch of mindless grunts similar to Banana Guard. And so Banana Guard might be the easier grunt you beat up, and then later on in the harder stages of PvE mode, you might have to fight an army of Agent Smiths. And you know, if you think about Smash Bros had it where you fought an army of Yoshis, and then you fought an army of Kirbys in Smash 64. So I think, here you go, like, what's the difference? It's basically the same thing. So I could totally see them doing something like that, or just using them as like allies to help fight against the villains. Of course, that's if they want to do like where you're always fighting villains. They could do a story mode where you fight the good guys instead, which would be pretty funny if like you end up, at first you're fighting like Finn and then you end up fighting Superman at the very end or something. But it could be very fun to do this thing with like Joker's the final boss or something like that. But before you fight him, you have to fight Jason Voorhees. You have to fight the evil Wonder Woman or the evil version of Morty. Maybe you fight Joker and Harley Quinn together and she's wearing her classic skin, so that way it's like the evil version before she turned to this anti-hero version of Harley they're doing now. Also, I love the villain stuff because there's evil Morty. Evil Morty is a character in this game too. And so you can get a lot of use out of evil doppelganger versions of villains in this game for the story mode, if that's what they choose to do with it. However, they showed a lot of villains. Like, people are thinking there's also like portals that appeared at the end. And so people are thinking maybe there's going to be like 4 more villains coming after Agent Smith, which is crazy to me. Also, a lot of us were speculating that Jason would be the final character because there was 2 secret character spots. One was Banana Guard, and we were all guessing one would be Jason. Turns out Jason and Agent Smith might both be in the base game. Agent Smith might be the first like DLC character, but I feel like if you were going to show the first DLC character, he wouldn't just show it at the same time as the final base game character. I feel like you would make a bigger special deal about it. So I'm not sure what that's about, but I don't see why Agent Smith can't just be in the base game. If you just... The thing is, we think Jason's going to be the final character in the base game because we're nerds and we overanalyze that character select screen. But if you just don't do that, I think the general public is just going to assume that Agent Smith comes in the base game. And for that reason, I'm going to start assuming he's going to be in the base game until they say different. It comes out in 8 days from now, which is pretty fucking exciting. Honestly, I'm very excited for that. Especially because I don't work on Tuesdays anymore, so it comes out on a Tuesday, and I'm going to be off work, so I'm ready to play that game all day that day. And yeah, and so now that I've wasted your time for 9 minutes and rambled a bunch, let's start talking about this new trailer that they showed, besides just the fact that Jason and Agent Smith were revealed in it, because I think the most exciting thing about this trailer is the drip feed of secret information, to the point where there's stuff where you have to like pause the screen because it's only on screen for like 2 seconds, and I tried watching it again and again without pausing it, and like these scenes go by so fast that there's just no damn way you're gonna see half this shit. And I love that. I encourage that. They're doing basically the opposite of what Super Smash Bros. Does. In Smash Bros. Trailers, they're like, oh, don't assume there's a hint for a new character unless we explicitly make it clear. You know, unless you see Dark Pit fly down at the end of Palutena's trailer and it zooms in on Dark Pit, don't assume Dark Pit, you know, just don't assume anything weird and crazy. This is different. They're like, oh, go ahead, make fucking assumptions, because I think they want to gauge fan reaction anyway. Like, if people say, oh, Pinky and the Brain are just balloons in the background, they're not actually coming to the game, oh, that sucks. I want Pinky and the Brain. Well, maybe they'll just put Pinky and the Brain in the game. Like, they might just actually do that later. Or, what I think is going to happen is Pinky and the Brain might be a part of another character's final smash attack. I forgot what their ultimate moves are called. Maybe it's just called their super or their ultimate. Obviously, I'm going to remember when the game comes back in 8 days from now. But I have a notepad of the character hints that I noticed that could mean nothing, but could mean everything. It's just one of those things that's hard to tell. So, first of all, they're fighting at the Warner Brothers water tower, which the Warner Brothers water tower is just a good spot for a map no matter what, because it represents Warner Brothers in general. But I remember back in the day, people were speculating on the Animaniacs having a playable character, or maybe just all three of them being one giant character, which we'll get to that in a second. But I definitely think there's an Animaniacs stage. I mean, Pinky and the Brain have big balloons in the background, and I feel like if they were going to put Pinky and the Brain balloons in the background, that should be a hint, because they could have put in balloons of Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. They could have done that, but they didn't. So I'm thinking either what will happen is either Yakko or Wacko or Dot will just get a playable character, or they'll just all three be one character, which would be crazy. But I could easily see them doing at least one of them or all three. I don't know what they'll do, but or definitely. So on my notepad, I just listed Animaniacs because it's like they could have shown like that they weren't going to be playable in the game if that's what they were going to do. But that's not what they went for. And with Multiversus, it's interesting because basically in time, we could see like so many characters depending on how long this game actually lasts for. I mean, I guess this is technically like season 2, or maybe it's chapter 2. I don't know how this works. Because Fortnite, they do chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, then they do season 1, season 2, season 3. So Fortnite, they're in chapter 5, season 2, but season 3 is about to start soon. But either way, it seems like we could have more characters later down the road. If this game just lasts forever, we could eventually get Pinky and the Brain. We could eventually get other characters in the background. Which, next thing I want to say is there's a stuck season sign on the Warner Brothers tower. Now, sometimes when you see things in the background, which we'll get to later, Wonder Woman is fighting in the Teen Titans tower later on, and you can see Robin's face in the background. But that could just be, again, props for the Teen Titans Go stage. It doesn't mean Robin is playable or not playable. You know, Robin could be playable. But I'm thinking Raven is definitely going to be playable. And I don't know what to say. Like, that could just be a prop in the background in the Teen Titans Go stage of having Robin pictures everywhere. It doesn't mean Robin's playable necessarily. However, with this Daffy Duck sign, with this Duck Season sign, I mean, come on. That has nothing to do with the Warner Brothers Tower or Animaniacs. So that is, to me, it's just a clear sign that they're working on Daffy Duck right now. Plus, Daffy Duck is just too obvious. Like, he is the most important character in Looney Tunes besides Bugs Bunny, and yet they have Taz and Martian Manhunter first. The thing is that Bugs can play off of beating up Taz and Martian, because Bugs' thing is he's the guy who thwarts all the hunter guys' problems, right? So Taz is a type of hunter because he could be hunting down Bugs. Marvin the Martian is in the game because he could be hunting down Bugs as well. But Daffy also has a very unique relationship with Marvin the Martian, and that's because of the Duck Dodger stuff. And I would love it if Daffy has a bunch of moves based off of Duck Dodgers, but it doesn't have to. They could just have him have normal moves similar to what Bugs has, but though I think Bugs kind of represents all of Looney Tunes with his moveset. And then Daffy could just have a Duck Dodgers skin, and you better believe I would wear it. But also, Daffy Duck became Green Lantern in Duck Dodgers. And not only that, but they referenced Daffy Duck becoming a Green Lantern in Lego Batman 3. So, we all know Daffy Duck is a member of the Green Lantern Corps. We all know that. Daffy Duck is literally a fucking Green Lantern, okay? So, you could give him a Green Lantern skin. Like, you could do that. And then, if you put Green Lantern in the game, then you could have Daffy and Green Lantern both be Green Lanterns together. And that would be fucking awesome. That would be so cool. Imagine when they drop Daffy Duck and they're like, look, it's a trailer for Daffy Duck. He summons Green Lantern in at the very end or something. Like, and then like they always show like two characters together. They always show Batman and Shaggy together. Now they're showing Finn and Velma together. Like, what if they start showing like Daffy and Green Lantern together? Like, that'd be fucking awesome, dude. So I would love that. Which I also have Green Lantern on my list because there is a Green Lantern lamp in the Teen Titans Go Tower. There was also a Green Lantern's lamp on Wonder Woman's stage, and it didn't amount to anything. There was also a Green Lantern animation for when you kill someone, which I always use because I want Green Lantern in the game really badly. I think he would be so perfect as a support character. I've made multiple videos saying like I want Green Lantern in the game. So hopefully this Green Lantern lamp is a sign. It's also very prominent. It's not even as well hidden as like the Daffy Duck sign, so I say let's do it, man. Next thing is when the water tower opens up, out comes a trident, which is clearly Aquaman related. Aquaman is a very pushed character. DC pushes Aquaman constantly. It's not like we barely ever see Aquaman, so Aquaman's definitely coming. It is kind of weird because Aquaman 2 came out to little to no fanfare and yada yada yada, but maybe they'll just do the classic, really old school Super Friends version of Aquaman, which would be really funny. But if they don't, that's clearly going to be a skin. That's such an iconic Aquaman costume, but I know DC likes to push this idea of like, they want to like turn Aquaman into this guy with really long hair who's really muscular and shirtless, and they've done this since before Jason Momoa. They've always been trying to push that version of Aquaman. Jason Momoa just happened to perfectly fit what they were going for already. He just didn't have blonde hair, but besides that, he was basically already there. So, and I would totally be down with them doing both, like Jason Momoa style Aquaman, doing the classic Aquaman, doing the Justice League Aquaman. That's all fine. Aquaman's not my favorite character, but he, again, it's moveset wise, he would be great for a game like this, and also he is classic from the Super Friends. So you gotta show him that kind of level of respect. There was also, of course, Samurai Jack's katana, Wicked Witch of the West broom, and the little octopus plushie that Bubbles plays with. So I think they're being pretty on the nose with these ones. Of course, the sword and broom fly by really fast. You can really only make out the trident and the plushie, but if you slow down everything, it's very clear that it is the sword and the broomstick. Now, a lot of people have different theories on the sword, but it's so clearly Samurai Jack's sword because the sword is in a completely black sheath with like no designs over it at all. So it's just 100% Samurai Jack's sword. And then the broomstick is almost like, I'm positive that it's Wicked Witch of the West. And that's because there was a lot of data mined information for her back in the day, back on the old Multiversus days, and we were all trying to speculate, like, we were all like, okay, yeah, they've worked on her, Beetlejuice, and Joker those are the ones that are definitely coming soon. And it seems like now they are pulling back on Beetlejuice. Maybe they'll wait because Beetlejuice has a movie coming out later this year, and I could totally see them releasing that around the same time as the movie. Normally I would say, nah, it doesn't really matter. But when Black Adam came out, it was pretty around the time that the movie came out. It was pretty close to that time. So I could totally see them waiting and doing Beetlejuice later, but Wicked Witch of the West is definitely one of the characters they'll be doing. And again, it's another character that, like, if you played Lego Dimensions, you know that they pushed her in that game. They've pushed Wizard of Oz stuff, and I'm totally fine with that. So yeah, I think also I think they're doing isn't there like a Wizard of Oz movie coming out eventually? I don't know much about that. All I know is that it makes sense why they're going to do her. Plus she's like iconic for movies in general. And yeah, and then lastly was the plushie that Bubbles plays with. And that takes me to Powerpuff Girls, because I don't think it's going to be just Bubbles by herself, because in Batman's computer they clearly showed Powerpuff Girls during the Joker trailer. It's right there. It's just the Powerpuff Girls, all three together. And I think they're going to do a character where it's all three of them together. Now, the best case scenario for me, the perfect way to handle the Powerpuff Girls would be it's one character, but you switch between them, similar to Pyra and Mythra. But I guess because there's three of them, you gotta find more than one reason to like switch. So maybe Buttercup will be the strongest physically, maybe Bubbles will be like the fastest or something, and maybe Blossom will be like the hardest to kill or something like that, you know? That's just an idea I have, right? You know, it just whatever, right? Or maybe like when you turn to Bubbles, it's only for like so long, but you're really fast. Maybe when you turn to Buttercup, it's only for so long, but you're really strong, and then by default you're just like Blossom. I don't know, like I'm just throwing out random ideas, but I think switching between them would be the best way to do things because they are a three-person team. You don't just like use only one. Like in the show, they're always all three together. They're barely ever just by themselves, right? So to me, I think they should just be all three together. But the worst case scenario would be like it's like Ice Climbers, but there's three of them, and like you play as Blossom, but Bubbles and Buttercup are always flying around her and always like flying around doing shit. Like that would be so annoying to deal with, and also it would just be, I don't know, I guess that'd be similar to like Pikmin or something from Smash, but it would just be so annoying to deal with. I think with Powerpuff Girls, they could play very straightforward. They have lasers, they have the ability to fly, they can punch really hard, they have like shockwaves they can make, and they can screech. And then I know Blossom has ice breath. I don't think all of them do, but I know Bubbles can speak to animals or something. So you could do where they all have a different like neutral attack. Like their neutral attack is different depending on which one they are, and then besides that, they're mostly the same. But I will say, like, yeah, that's something about Pyra and Mythra is that their B attacks are all different. So, but they're similar, but they're different. But so like maybe they could figure out like, you know, different neutral attacks, and maybe and then down B switches the characters, down special switches the characters. So yeah, there's definitely like stuff you could do, and then of course their ultimate super attack would be all three of them come out and do something, right? So, or maybe I don't know, but all three of them coming out and like shooting laser beams or something. So the potential for Powerpuff Girls as being a great character is there, but the potential for them being super annoying is also there. But I'm having faith that they're going to do this right. The idea of switching between the three of them is just too good to pass up, in my opinion. It would basically make me want to play them more. So like they would end up being one of my favorite characters if that's what they do, because I love Pokemon Trainer, I love Pyra and Mythra, I love the characters that switch. That's just something I love. I never really got into I never got into Zelda and Sheik because I don't like any of their base playstyles. Like I couldn't get down with either one of them. But I really love Pokemon Trainer and I really love Pyra and Mythra. So I'm hoping that's what they do with Powerpuff Girls. Next up is, for like a split second, you can see Dexter's glasses and his purple gloves. I think they put the purple gloves there to showcase that, yes, it is in fact Dexter. That's not just random glasses. Now, the thing about Dexter is that when they show off Powerpuff Girls and they show off Dexter, it's like, okay, you guys have already shown off a Dexter's Lab stage, and you've already shown off the city of Townsville as a stage. You've also already shown that Powerpuff Girls are on Batman's computer. Like, we get it. Powerpuff Girls are in the game. Dexter's in the game. Like, Dexter's robot is already a part of the PvE mode, alright? We already know Dexter's going to be in the game eventually. But that's what makes me, like, excited when I see these other cameo appearances, like the Duck Season thing, because it just kind of confirms like these are on the same level as Dexter and Powerpuff Girls if they're all coming in. So I definitely think that Powerpuff Girls and Dexter will be coming sooner rather than later because they already have stages in the game, and Dexter's already like in the main PvE mode even. So I definitely think we're getting like Dexter as a playable character. I just don't know when. But yeah, he's like 100% confirmed. He's like 100% going to happen. At first I was like worried maybe he'll only get a stage and a boss fight or something in the PvE mode and then he won't actually be playable. But this, with the glasses and gloves there, it just fucking confirms, like, it's happening, it's happening. Next up, we get the Teen Titans Tower. And for this, on my notepad, I didn't write Raven or Robin. I just wrote Teen Titans because a lot of people are speculating that there's a lot of Robin stuff being shown. There is, but it could be like Peaky in the Brain where they're just like a part of the stage. I don't necessarily think this shows, like, they showed Robin stuff so frequently that I think it's just a part of the Teen Titans Go stage because Robin is such an important character of Teen Titans Go. But honestly, I feel like if they're gonna do Robin, don't do the Teen Titans Go version of Robin. Just do your own version of Robin, right? They did their own version of Batman and Superman, and because of that, there's like an animated series version of Batman as a skin. With Robin, there's so many skin possibilities. You could do like all the different Robins. Like Damian Wayne could be one of the Robins, and then instead of hitting people with a staff, he hits people with a katana or something. Like, there's just so many different possibilities for Robins, and you don't want two Robins, you don't want Nightwing in the game. You know, once you put Nightwing in the game, that should signify that you have, like, so many other characters in the game that you can finally do Nightwing now. But, like, you can do Robin, but, like, if you're gonna do Robin, like, I just want you to do your own original character. I don't want you to do, like, Teen Titans Go version of Robin. I'm fine with the voice actor being the Teen Titans voice actor, because he's done Robin in a lot of different properties. But I don't want the Teen Titans Go version of Robin. It looks like they might be doing the Teen Titans Go version of Raven, which is also weird, because again, just do Teen Titans version of Raven. Don't do the Go version of Raven. Just do the normal Teen Titans version of Raven. But if you want to do the Teen Titans Go stage for Raven, that's fine. But we could be getting the Teen Titans Go version of Raven instead, and that's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about that, but because I do want serious fighters for a fighting game, and Raven has very unique powers. But if they just want to give us like pretty much their own cartoony version of Raven, again, kind of like how they did Batman Superman, that would be the best case scenario. And then if you make her stage Teen Titans Go, I think everyone will understand and not be upset and think it's normal, right? So nothing, you know, you can do that. You can do that, right? Yeah. And I just think for Teen Titans, it'll probably be either Robin or Raven. It'll be like those two. But Raven, I feel like, is the most likely, especially because I think there was a bunch of old data for her, data mined stuff. And then, of course, Green Lantern was also in this part. But again, I already talked about that mostly, just the lantern lamp. And I've talked about Green Lantern a million times. I think he's just a perfect character. It's crazy that they're teasing both Aquaman and Green Lantern, though. And that makes me... The Green Lantern lamp could just be a stage prop. But why would it be in the Teen Titans Go area? Because it was already in a different area. It was in Wonder Woman's stage in the original game, so why wouldn't it be there? Like, why would they put it in the Teen Titans Go area? So there's something going on with Green Lantern stuff. They definitely have something planned with Green Lantern stuff because they keep showing Green Lantern stuff. So we will see what they're going to do. Yeah. Lastly, the last thing I saw, because after this scene, they just kind of show Joker and Jason and Agent Smith, and those aren't like hints. Those are like, here's the next two characters. It's Jason and Agent Smith. The last thing they showed was Marceline's axe, which is also her her guitar, which I think it's a bass. Don't kill me, Adventure Time people. I have seen the show. It's just been a long time since I've seen most of it. But I do like Adventure Time. I actually love Adventure Time, but I'm just not as like hardcore dedicated as some people are who keep up with everything, who watch the new Fiona show and all that stuff. But yes, Marceline's axe is there. Now, it's her axe at the Adventure Time stage. However, she just makes too much sense as a character. Like, if they don't put her in, I will be shocked. And I guess they don't have to do her this season. They can wait until the next season. But this is just, it would be shocking to not include her, right? Again, I understand why they would wait. I understand why you would wait, because there's already Finn and Jake. So maybe wait until there's some time between Adventure Time stuff, and now they put in Banana Guard, which that's what makes people like confused. It's like, okay, if you're gonna go ahead and put another Adventure Time character in, like if we've waited long enough and now we get another Adventure Time character, when can we get Marceline? And like, Some people want Ice King as well. I want Ice King as well too. I think Ice King would be a badass character. I want Marceline and Ice King. But Marceline should come first. Again, she just makes too much sense. It's like ridiculous to not want to include her. Not only does she have like a fucking axe, she could be like a big heavy axe swinger, but she can fly and she has vampire powers. So like, this chick just needs to be in the game. Marceline needs to get in here. Like, it just makes too much sense. And they're, you know, it's clear that they're trying to push diversity, but even with trying to push diversity, it's not like there's a ton of women in the game. There's still like a ton. It's like mostly blah blah blah. It's mostly white male characters, right? And I'm not one to say, okay, you have to put in diverse characters. You have to do this. You have to do that. But I'm just saying, from a marketing standpoint, it just makes sense. Like, from a marketing standpoint, like, I have a friend who told me that she is interested in this game because of Velma. And I know some people hate on the new Velma show, but this is the classic Velma. And the reason why they ever made a Velma show in the first place is because a lot of people identify with Velma. A lot of people like Velma as a character. Hey, I know a lot of guys who like Shaggy and identify with Shaggy as a character. And how many guys do you know who have dressed up as Shaggy for Halloween? A lot. So this representation, it does matter just from a marketing standpoint alone. Like, it's going to help people buy the game because, look, I'm a white man. I'm going to buy the game because Batman's in it, okay? That's just the, like, you know, what do you want from me? What am I supposed to say here? Like, Batman's in the game. Oh, I'm interested. Like, that's just how it works. So, yeah, I mean, you got to try to appeal to as many people as possible. So Marceline getting in, it's just one of those things that's like a no-brainer. It's just, it's going to happen. The funny thing is that her axe could have just been a prop because it's the Adventure Time area. Some of these other props, like Dexter's glasses being in the Powerpuff Girl stage, okay, they could have put in Bubbles plushie there, but they didn't. They put Bubbles plushie in the Warner Bros. Water tower, right? So, you know, it's like, it is weird because it could be just a background element for the Adventure Time area, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't in the original stage. I'm pretty sure her ex isn't in the stage anywhere anyway, and it's been a stage since the game came out. So I'm thinking like that's there for a hint, but even if it's not a hint, again, like even if it's just like a background prop and that's just all it is, it's just one of those characters that's like, no, it's going to happen eventually. It's just a matter of time. So I think either way, it doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter what it means. I don't care what it means. I'm telling you, Marceline's getting in the game one way or another. Might be season 3, but ain't no way it's gonna be season 4. Like, it's coming. Like, it's coming. So, that being said, I think that's all the speculation I have for this one. I will say the only other things we have to speculate on is, number one, when showing off pictures for the bananas, for Banana Guard, Player First Games showed their inside offices, and they showed that they had Matrix stuff up, and they had a Watchmen framed photo, though I could see that Watchmen framed photo not being a hint, because I bet you that's been there for a while. But I'm not going to count them out, because they've been dropping these little hints all over the place in this trailer, that now I'm looking at their other content with like magnifying glasses on, just being like, okay, well, what the hell's else being a hint here? I mean, they straight up showed Matrix stuff in the picture, and then Agent Smith was in the game. So, yeah, I think that means something. People are also pointing out that John Tobias was in the screenshot. Now, that's crazy to use an actual human being as a hint and a prop. That's crazy to me. But at the same time, you know, so for those of you who don't know, John Tobias is the co-creator of Mortal Kombat. It's him and Ed Boon. Now, Ed Boon is in charge of basically everything Mortal Kombat related. I don't know what John Tobias does nowadays. I don't know if he's attached to Mortal Kombat, because I think he quit after the 3D realm, like the 3D era, and Ed Boon has mostly been in charge of the NetherRealm Studios era, basically the Mortal Kombat 9 and 10, 11, and 1. But I will say it's rather interesting that they introduced Joker and Jason, who are both previously in Mortal Kombat games already. And John Tobias is right there. And, you know, they showed 4 more portals next to Joker. A lot of the characters they teased during this big trailer weren't really villains. Animaniacs, Daffy Duck, Aquaman, Samurai Jack, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter, Teen Titans, and Green Lantern, and Marceline, those aren't really villains. However, they did show Wicked Witch of the West. So maybe she could be one of them, which is funny, but she is still technically a villain. So if they wanted to put Scorpion in there, or again, Goro, Goro from Multiversus, Goro from Multiversus, Goro from Multiversus, they could put in a Mortal Kombat character right there. Even if it's like Sub-Zero, I feel like that still fits, like Scorpion or Sub-Zero fits, but I think if you want to make a really badass villain, throw Scorpion in right there. And yeah, you could have 2 more villains right there. So we could be getting Scorpion. Besides that, if they did put a Watchmen character, and a lot of people keep posting Rorschach, but Rorschach is just literally a regular guy. Like, Rorschach, you could make a moveset with him by giving him, like, a butcher knife or something, but, like, he's just literally a regular guy who just fights. He's not, like... I think some people get confused about Watchmen because the live-action movie gave everyone, like, really strong... Like, they were all super strong, even though they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be regular guys. Rorschach doesn't have martial arts or anything, he's just literally a detective that solves crimes. He just kind of, over time, became a sadistic killer himself, but, you know, overall... But, I don't know, Rorschach is a fan favorite character, so I could see them do that. I think Dr. Manhattan would be the more interesting character. Of course, then people would keep making jokes about his dick being out, so I don't know. Maybe they won't do Dr. Manhattan. But I think Dr. Manhattan is the most interesting character from Watchmen. Watchmen's not really the type of franchise that needs video games, even though there is a video game where you play as Rorschach and Night Owl, and it plays kind of like Arkham or something. It's not that great, but Watchmen doesn't really need that kind of spin-off material. It's not really made for that. It's, you know, it's a very dark story, so it shouldn't really... I don't really know if it needs to be in here, but... You know, Watchmen fans will probably play as these characters. Like, who cares? So, whatever they decide to do, I think I'll be fine if they do Watchmen. But I'm completely fine with them just skipping it and not doing it. I feel like if you're gonna do an Alan Moore DC Comics character, I'd rather have V for Vendetta than like Watchmen, honestly. But yeah, Watchmen. I guess you could put in one of those characters. And then, yeah, the other thing they have to go off of information is that Papagenos has pretty much just admitted that he's been dropping hints in his videos. He dropped hints with Jason by having a machete in the background of his videos, but it's very, very, very obscured. You could really not see it at all. And then he also admitted to photoshopping Agent Smith into a picture of the Matrix characters. And he said he just did that so it looked like normal and natural, so that way people wouldn't go, oh, it's Agent Smith. Because most people were thinking Neo and not Agent Smith, but he's straight up admitting that he heard Agent Smith and he heard Jason. Like, he also said he heard Banana Guard early on, so basically, if Papagenos says a character is not getting in, that means something. He definitely knows information, and he's not telling us because he wants to keep the speculation community alive, which, yeah, the reason why I didn't upload my video yesterday was because I was speculating on Jason and was like really excited that I was coming up with like my own righteous conclusions. Like, I was saying Jason would be perfect because he would be a tank character and Banana Guard's a bruiser and Joker is a mage, so this is like we would have all the different classes in. My theory went out the window because I think that Agent Smith is also going to be a bruiser, just like Banana Guard. I highly doubt he'll be an assassin. So, yeah, or a support. He'll probably not be a support. So yeah, my theory went out the window of like, Jason will get in because he won't be another bruiser. He'll be a tank. But my theory of him being a tank is, I'm pretty sure we can all agree he's a fucking tank. I mean, they made this boy massive, right? He's looking like Kylo Ren in Star Wars Episode 8. Like, he's buff, okay? He is a beefy boy. And I wanted Jason to be a big, tall, really, like, slow-moving character. And yeah, Jason in this is like a fucking wall. He is huge. I didn't think he was gonna be like this thick. I thought he was gonna be a big old boy. I didn't think he'd be a big thick boy. But yeah, I like this design of Jason. It's like such a silly, cartoony design of Jason. And people keep pointing out that it looks like he fits in Scooby-Doo. I love the idea of Jason Voorhees fitting into Scooby-Doo. But if you want to keep speculation alive. Papagenos is doing a great job. I will always show love and respect to Papagenos as being... I was doing like Dragon Ball Z character speculation before I ever saw one of his videos, but he just, you know, he is like the voice of the people when it comes to character speculation stuff. And as much as I want to break away from platform fighters and speculate on Street Fighter and Tekken, and even Mortal Kombat 1, the problem is that with those games, it's more like, I don't know, like what's the next Street Fighter character going to be? I don't fucking know. Probably a character from Street Fighter. Like, what's the next character from Tekken going to be? I don't know. Probably a character from Tekken. Like, I don't think I expected like Lydia to be the second one in Tekken, but I mean, Eddie being one of the first ones makes so much sense because Eddie's a fucking like staple Tekken character. But I don't know, dude. I don't know. Is Lucky Chloe going to be the third one? I don't fucking know. Probably not. So yeah, when it comes to like speculating on those games and even Nicktoons, I did some Nicktoon speculation, but it's not that fun to do. You know, I speculated Rocco and Angry Beavers, but you realize that your pool of characters is very low, and it's just not interesting. And even when the characters are revealed, you know, you go, you know what? Those two characters from Avatar Last Airbender, yeah, I mean, whatever. It's like, you know what? Yeah, it's okay. That's fine. Like, speculating on the characters just isn't that fun for a lot of these other games. But for Multiversus, it's still fun again, but it's a big part of, like, the problem with multiverse speculation is that when there's leaks and when there's data mined information, it ruins everything. Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, I'm just like, okay, whatever. We all know who's been in the data mine, so how am I supposed to fucking speculate on that, you know? All I can do is speculate on when characters will come out, which isn't nearly as fun as speculating on who the characters will even be in the first place. Now, we have a great opportunity because they keep drip feeding information in these trailers, and that's what makes it so much fun, is that they're just hinting at so many things at once. And so yeah, there's so much to do and so much to look at for as far as what characters could be potentially in the game. And I think with Multiversus, it's almost more important to just voice what you want, not just voice what you think's going to happen. I want Daffy Duck, and I think it's going to happen, especially after seeing the Duck Season thing. I want Samurai Jack. We all want Samurai Jack. It's such a no-brainer that of course it's going to happen. I really want Robin, and I really want Green Lantern. Those are the two DC characters I want more than anything. And I think now, if we get Raven without Robin, people will eventually say, we want Robin, and Robin will be a highly demanded character, and Robin will eventually come, right? So, what do you want from, like, everything is working exactly the way it should be. So I just want to point out that there is one other character that I want, and I've talked about him in my old videos. It seems like two of the characters I talked about in my old videos, Green Lantern and Robin, might be happening, though Robin might not be this season, but hopefully we can get a real Robin character and not just Teen Titans Go Robin, or not just a Robin in the background of Teen Titans Go, and not also Robin, LeBron James wearing Robin's costume, though I'd love that. I think that's great. I do want a real Robin eventually. Besides that, though, there was one other character I used to talk about and say that I really wanted, and that was Space Ghost. I still want Space Ghost. If there's going to be any other Adult Swim character, I don't know who they would do. I don't know if it would be Aqua Teen Hunger Force, maybe, though those characters might be really weird. They're not animated that well. I feel like those characters might not be the best choice for this. Though it's funny enough because I just watched the new episode of Smiling Friends. I just watched that earlier, and you know, there's an episode where they have a character enter a Smash Bros. Style game, so it would be really funny if they did put a Smiling Friends character in here as well, because it is a pretty popular series for Adult Swim right now. But I think that if they do another Adult Swim character, I don't know who they'd even do, because Rick and Morty transcends Adult Swim. That just happens to be a franchise Warner Brothers owns that just happened to be on Adult Swim. But in reality, it's like, it's not in the game because, oh, we have to represent Adult Swim. It's in the game because Rick and Morty is a huge IP. Rick and Morty was even in Space Jam 2, which shows like how popular it is. You know, Rick and Morty is more popular than Smiling Friends 2, if I, just saying. Rick and Morty just is such a big IP. But if you know, Space Ghost would make me happy. Space Ghost would be that's like my one pipe dream character that I just want to throw out there because I want to be able to. I wanted to get in the game, so I don't mind if I get Green Lantern first and then Robin and then Space Ghost. But I'm just gonna keep throwing out Space Ghost as the character I want. That's who I want. That and that's pretty much it. That and like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Those are probably my two most requested that weren't teased at all. But Scorpion actually has a real chance of getting in. That's the difference. That being said, I have now rambled for 45 minutes. This is a long enough video for you guys. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you keep speculating on things yourself. And I'll see you guys on the next one.